All right, so today we're going to look at section 1.4, measure and classify angles. First, we need to get some definitions. An angle is a figure formed by two non-collinear rays. That have a common endpoint. The common endpoint is called the vertex. And the two rays that make up the angle are called the sides of the angle. There are several different ways to name the angle. So here we have this angle down here. Notice that I have my common endpoint here, this ray. So this would be a side of the angle. This would be a side of the angle. And this would be the vertex. You can use the vertex and a point from each side. When you do this, the vertex must be in the middle. So I could name this angle ABC or angle CBA. I could use only the vertex and call it angle B. I could use a number, so if I have a 3 in there, I could say that's angle 3. There are different types of angles. The first is an acute angle. This is an angle that measures less than 90 degrees, so less than 90 degrees. There is a right angle. This is an angle that is measuring exactly at 90 degrees. Obtuse angle is an angle whose measure is greater than 90 degrees. And then a straight angle is an angle whose measure is exactly 180 degrees. It's a straight line. We have the angle measure postulate that states for every angle there is a number between 0 and 180 called the degree measure of the angle. And then we have the protractor postulate, which tells me if one ray of an angle lies on 0, then the other measure of the angle will be the number corresponding to the other ray of the angle. So now we're going to talk about how to use our protractor. You're going to place the notch or the center right here of the protractor at the vertex of the angle. Place the edge of the protractor along the side of the angle so that the scale reads 0. So this ray, one of your rays, you want to be a long match up with the 0. You will read the angle size by reading the degree measure that corresponds to the second side of the angle. All right, so let's look at that. So here, find the measure of each angle. Okay, so notice that this is our starting point down here. Okay, the center of the protractor is at my vertex. This is lined up with the 0. The 0 is on the inside, so I'm going to read my inside numbers here. So I come all the way up. On the inside, we are at, it looks to be about 45 degrees. So 45 degrees. Classify it. That means is it acute, right, obtuse, or straight? 45 is less than 90, so this is an acute angle. Now we want to classify this angle. This is where my first ray is starting. Notice this time 0 is on the outside, so I'm reading my outside numbers all the way over, which looks to be at about 133 degrees. So I would say 133 degrees. Classify it. That's greater than 90, so that would be an obtuse angle. So now we want to measure these with our own protractor. So let's see if I can pull the protractor out here. Okay, so again, I'm going to take the middle point right here. I'm going to put lined up with one of my rays on the 0, directly in the middle. And so my 0 is on the outside, so I'm reading my outside numbers, which looks to be at about 71 degrees. So 71 degrees. And move it over here. Again, put the vertex on that middle of my protractor. This ray, again, lining up with the 0 on the outside. So here, that looks to be about, let's see, about 44 degrees maybe. Okay. Now we're going to learn how to construct an angle with a protractor. So first you would draw, this says a straight line, but really we're going to draw a ray, which will be one side of the angle. We're going to use the protractor to make a dot at the angle measure, being careful to read the correct side of the protractor. Connect the vertex with the dot to make the other side and label it. So let's look at doing that. So the first one, draw and label the angles. Angle JKL is 36 degrees. So let me get our protractor again. So we're just going to use this to draw a ray. So there is my ray. I'm going to put a dot here. It's going to be my vertex, so that's going to be K. I'm going to put that on. So there's my 0. We want 36 degrees. 0 is on the inside, so 30 out right there. So now I'm just going to use this to connect. No. What? Where those angles came from? I'm sorry about that. So this is 36 degrees. Need to label it. So it doesn't matter if I put J or L up there as long as the K is my vertex. So there's JKL. Okay. So now if I want, I'm going to draw another ray. I'm going to put my, at the end here, we want 118 degrees. So I'm starting at 0, getting on the inside. So I'm going to go all the way up here is 110 to 15, right there, it looks like. So there's my dot. Connect that dot with my vertex. This would be about 118 degrees. Here it's just said angle M, so my vertex is just the N. Okay, so now we want to look at the, let's see, small angle, the angle addition postulate. Recall that we've already looked at this. It just tells me that if T is in the interior of angle KLM, then the measure of angle KLM is equal to the sum of the measures of angle MLT and TLK. That just means that if I have one big angle and it's split up into several angles, add up all the angles, and I would get the big angle back. All right, so let's use the angle addition postulate to work some problems out. So example number 3, find the indicated angle measures. The measure of angle RTD, that's in here, is 39. The measure of angle DTE, that's 56. They want RTE. So the measure of angle RTE is going to equal 39 plus 56. So then I have the measure of angle RTE. So when I add 39 and 56, I get 95. Just make sure to put your degree sign. Given the measure of angle ABD is 45, the measure of angle DBC is 32, it wants to know what is the measure of angle ABC. There's not a picture here. If it helps you to draw a picture, you could draw, so let's say this is ABD 45, DBC 32. So ABC is the whole thing. So the measure of angle ABC is going to equal 32 plus 45. So when I add 32 and 45, I get 77 degrees. Right. This last one down here, they tell me that angle SQR is 25, angle RQT is 50, and angle TQP is 43. So it says the measure of angle SQT. SQT, well, that's marked in this. Sorry. SQT is going to be the 25 plus 50, so 25 plus 50 is 75 degrees. Measure of angle PQR, so I would have to add these two together. So that's 50 plus 43, which is 93 degrees. And finally, the measure of angle SQP, so that's all of them. So that's 25 plus 50 plus 43. We add all of those, we get 118 degrees. All right. Let's look at our last page. So here, given the measure of angle ABD is 4x plus 1, so this little one in here is 4x plus 1. BBC in here is 2x minus 2. The entire thing is 125. And so they want to know what is x. Angle addition postulate tells me if I add the two together, so 4x plus 1 plus 2x minus 2 has to equal the entire angle, which they tell me was 125. Combine like terms, so I get 6x. 1 minus 2 gives me minus 1 equals 125. Add 1 over, so I get 6x equals 126. Divide by 6, x equals 21. So x equals 21, no degree sign because I did not find an angle, I just found a variable. And then see, it says, what's wrong with this picture? We said this entire angle was 125 degrees. 125, that's obtuse, greater than 90, but look at the way they draw the picture. Okay, so that they drew, so it is drawn an acute angle, but labeled obtuse. So their drawing just doesn't match their labeling. All right, next one, the measure of angle HGF. So that is the entire angle, is 16x plus 4. Measure of angle EGF in here is 110. HGE, 3x plus 11. Find x. So again, these two add together, so 3x plus 11 plus 110 equals the great big one, 16x plus 4. Combine like terms, so 11 plus 110 gives us 121, so 3x plus 121 equals 16x plus 4. We want to get all of our x's on the same side, so I'm going to subtract 3x over. So 121 equals 13x plus 4. Subtract 4, and we'll get 117 equals 13x. Finally divide by 13, x is equal to 9. Again, it's no degree sign because it's just the x. If they asked me to find the measure of angle HGE, I would simply plug 9 in for the x, but that's not what I asked for. All right, last example. Find the measure of angle HIW if the measure of angle WIJ, so WIJ, this one right here is 10x. Measure of angle HIJ, so that's a great big one, is 145. And HIW, this little spot in here is the 2x plus 13. So again, add them together. 2x plus 13 plus 10x has to equal the whole thing, 145. Combine like terms, so I get 12x plus 13 equals 145. Subtract 13, so 12x equals 132. Divide by 12, x equals 11. So here they didn't ask me to find x, they asked me to find the measure of angle HIW, so I have to plug it in. So HIW, they told me it was 2x, so 2 times of x, 11 plus 13. So that's 22 plus 13. Let's say the measure of angle HIW, when I add 22 and 13, I get 35 degrees. Again, it's an angle, so I need the degree sign. So that is our first day of section 1.4, measuring and classifying angles.